Welcome to Surrogate to the Abyss. I'm your host, Richard Gerlach, coming to you live from a phone booth in the woods. With me, as always, is Matt Brandenburg.
Who is on the other line?
It could be Vitlame Mist.
No, I'm stuck in the woods.
I like how we don't prepare those, and it just kind of like, it works really well.
It does.
Today we're going to be discussing We Can Never Go Back by Daron Kappauff. And this is a really fun novelette.
Yeah. It's funny because when I went to order it, it didn't seem like it was very long. So I was like, cool, I'll be able to read this, no problem. And then Kindle tells you and they're like, oh, it's going to take an hour. And I'm like, what is happening? Why is this going to take me an hour? And it took me 30 minutes because half the ebook or whatever has excerpts from other stuff. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So be careful.
It's a little bit misleading with the Kindle option. I felt the same way. I was like, at 56%. I was like, yeah. And then wait, the story's done. Wait, huh?
Yeah. It was the same. It was the same for me. I'm like, wait, it's a 70%. I'm done.
Yeah.
What?
I kept thinking that. I was like, well, maybe it's a really long chapter and maybe the next chapter. But nope, it's just done.
Yep.
Honestly, before we get into our weekly recommendations, I would have actually liked this to be longer. I wanted to sit with these characters more.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And see where it goes.
I feel like he could have fleshed out it a lot more. There was so much potential to put into it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what We Go is really good.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but
No. It's a nice, good teaser, but at the same time, you're like, I want more though.
Yeah, I definitely want more. I'm excited to read. Honestly, the new book he has coming out with Ed Lauren should be lots of fun.
I am screaming. I read the excerpts and I'm like, I want this now. I kept reading bits of it to my husband because I thought it was so fucking brilliant. Especially the thing when he gives a nod to, the vampires in I Am Legend. They're not vampires just to drink blood. They eat everything. And I'm like, yeah, they do.
Lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But before we fully get into the novelette, I think it's been a couple weeks since we recorded. So we got some good weekly recommendations to begin, which I spent the other day watching the Resident Evil Netflix series.
Did you finish it?
I finished it in one day.
Oh, holy shit. How many episodes is it?
It's 8 episodes.
Oh, okay. Then I might be able to finish it today then as well.
I was doing work while I was watching it. So it's
multitasking is a thing.
It's Resident Evil. It's not like you had to give it all your attention.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's kind of like you can eat popcorn and watch it.
Yeah. This is something I've started doing in my vocabulary outside of the podcast, where if I enjoyed something, but I know it wasn't good, I just say it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this Resident Evil series. Is it good? No. Is it entertaining? Fuck yes, it is. It is tons of fun to watch. It's Resident Evil. Resident Evil has never had compelling story or super good characters.
No, that's true. It's just zombie whack.
Yeah, it's always been fun. It's always been fun. It's always been campy. It's always been ridiculous. And the show captures that, I think, really well. But that being said, Lance Reddick as Albert Wesker is the best thing.
I'm not that much into this Resident Evil franchise that I know who it is.
Honestly, Wesker's the main villain of the original games.
Is he the one who developed the serum, or
he helped develop the serum?
Okay.
The dude with the blonde hair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember it now.
Yeah,
I remember going like on Wikipedia whenever like the newest Resident Evil film came on. I was like, who is this villain now? So I had to go on Wikipedia because I have no fucking patience to play the fucking games. so I was just like, so who's the villain this time? Oh, it's this guy. Okay, and then is he interesting? Well,
No.
I mean, in the game he's okay, but in the movie, no, not so much.
So just to give a rundown of what the show is about is it actually takes place in the universe of the games, but it's also its own thing. So like you don't need to know anything about Resident Evil to enjoy the show.
Okay.
But if you do like the games, there's lots of little Easter eggs and callbacks and like fun things for the fans.
Cameos or?
No, it's like they'll take lines from other characters that were in the games. There's like one, like if you play Resident Evil 4, there's a character that's kind of like Leatherface, where he kills you with a chainsaw and has this like bag over his face. And that character's just randomly in the movie. Like there's no explanation. It's just there. And like, okay, like I'll take it. Like
turn off my brain. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a scene where a out of shape husky scientist dude has a full-blown slow-mo action scene where he's capping zombies in the head and they're playing Feels Just Like It Should by Jim Akurai.
What?
And it is like so fucking stupid.
I might have to YouTube that later today.
It is
Just for the shits and giggles.
Yeah.
It was really funny. And there's also a scene at the Olive Garden TM because they mention the Olive Garden and they have the Olive Garden branding all within the camera shots throughout the scene.
Jesus.
And Lance Reddick's character has a tirade about the unlimited breadsticks.
Okay.
It's so fucking stupid. But like, it was really fun. And that's my review. It's fucking stupid, but it's really fun. And on the other end of the spectrum, for something really smart, I also watched this in one day because I was doing nothing for most of yesterday as well. And I finished the new season of Solar Opposites, which also just came out.
Oh, it's good. Are they gonna continue with the people in the ant farm?
The wall people?
Yes.
Yes, there's more wall people.
Yes. I just kind of watch it just for that.
Honestly, like the wall people is the most compelling plot of the show.
Yes.
But I do think the alien family has gotten more compelling like the more they've done the show.
Okay. Well, I mean that's true. But I still stay for the Wall family.
They introduce a new faction in this season, and they are the space cops.
Oh God.
Oh no.
So space cops play a thing in this season, but it's still just like your typical like Solar Opposite shenanigans. Corvo hates Earth. Terry loves Earth. Corvo wants to leave. They get into their little like turmoils between each other, but that has really funny callbacks from like previous seasons where like they go on vacation and the people who own the vacation place are trying to like fuck with the alien characters and make them jealous. So they make a museum of like people's greatest moments, and there's an animatronic of like that rage monster fucking Corvo. And he's just like, "You make me come more than Terry does."
Oh my God. That is insane.
So yeah, they do like shit like that. I think the shows are really, really well written. The wall stuff is still the most compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's a lot more wall stuff in this season too. I think they know people like the wall stuff a bit more, so they're kind of putting it in a bit more as it goes.
Good.
But
is this what season 3 for it?
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
And they've already announced 2 more seasons of it.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So we were getting Solar Opposites for quite a little bit. Which, I mean, a lot of people love Justin Roiland for Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think Solar Opposites is a better show.
Yeah,
It's I mean, and nowadays Rick and Morty has gotten a little bit tiring. It feels like now they're feeling a little bit condescending, in my opinion.
To the fans? Oh yeah,
Oh,
the last
yes,
season
yeah.
of Rick and Morty was pretty much a fuck you to the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling they didn't think it was going to blow up as much as it did, and now
Yeah.
they're just kind of like, well, crap, we have to make this thing because
Well, it's
people
also
want it.
I think with Rick and Morty they did a couple of things wrong, and I don't mean this as like a criticism against them. I just don't think they were thinking. They didn't. I don't think they expected Rick and Morty to get as big as it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't think they wanted Rick and Morty to have this like canon serialized storyline.
Yeah.
And so all the fans are talking about how much they love the canon and how much they want to map out the plot of Rick and Morty, when like the people who write Rick and Morty just want to tell silly one-off stories.
Mhm.
So it became like what the fans really like about the show goes to contrast about what the creators of the show want to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just want to get drunk and record themselves doing silly voices.
Yes.
Yeah.
And create like fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I will say there was some pretty good moments in the last season. I will give it that. The two crows thing was pretty great.
Oh man,
But
yeah.
Anyway, the new Solar Opposites is a ton of fun, and I highly recommend it.
Excellent.
If you haven't seen it at all, like it's one of the best animated shows on TV right now.
I had started season 1 and then I don't know, I just stopped. It was entertaining. I did like it because it just was a funny kind of like joke riff on sitcoms, but I just never got a chance to continue.
Did you get to the full wall people episode?
I'm trying to think. I might have. I mean, I saw like that progress. I just don't know if I saw a full episode on them.
Every season there's this one episode where they like ditch the intro and it just is the people on the wall for the entire episode. And they treat it like it's its own thing. Like I think season 1 it's like episodes called like Terry and Corvo go to the zoo. And it opens up and you see the family like leave. And then like the rest of it's just inside the wall, and it focuses on the people inside the wall. And then like you'll see through the windows on the outside that's like bear escapes from zoo with help from people. That's like the main wall stories going on. Then like near the end, the bear's in the house with everybody, and you can see that reflected like outside of the glass from inside the wall. But the whole story just takes place inside the wall.
I love it.
It is really fun. But Matt, what about you?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I think the first thing is let me paint you a picture of this idyllic Maine town on the coast of the ocean. Perfect vacation spot. And it's October. It's, beautiful leaves. We have an author that he just hit it big. He was huge in the indie world, but then people started liking his stuff even more. So he got a huge contract. He's got to work on his next book. And so he's got to go to this small town because his friend's got a cabin and he's going to hunker down and write this thing. So he's ready to go. He's there. And what should appear but giant crab, lobster, scorpion monsters?
Damn it, I was wrong. I thought you were going to see inbred hillbilly cannibal people.
Nope, none of that. I went to a completely different direction and brought in some crab monsters. I read the first book, Clickers, in J.F. Gonzalez, and I think it's Dave Williams' Clickers universe. Mark Williams. So, yes, I picked up Clickers, and apparently I am now a fan of giant killer animal books because this is the third or fourth one. I know we've covered at least 2, Killer Flies and The Nest. But this one deals with crab things, and it's exactly what you're expecting of those giant killer animal stuff. Well, to a point. The nice thing is they do twist a lot of it where you're getting these monsters, but you might also happen get other monsters from the ocean that just might be wanting to kill these crab things, but then also kill people. So that, is a little bit of a twist. You don't really have that scientist that caused these monsters to exist, or, a garbage dump island full of toxic waste that makes giant cockroaches. You don't have any of that. These things just exist in the ocean, and they come up because this other thing is coming up, and these people are just happen to be in the way. And it's it's a lot of fun. It's a small town, JF Gonzalez. They did a really cool thing with making it a little bit of a rednecky town. With our sheriff that hates all newcomers and all hippies and all peace-loving people. He's a terrible person. And it's funny reading this sheriff because he kind of comes in and out of this story. And at first I was kind of like, well, are they going to make him the main villain and the crabs just secondary? But that's not the case. As much as we hate this sheriff, he doesn't have a turn. So I'll say that he stays evil and just nasty throughout the whole thing. But he does get his comeuppance a little bit earlier than I expected, which is good. And yeah, it was just an absolute blast. These crab things are cool invention. These clickers, I should call them. That just this idea of them being crabs and sort of lobsters, but then also having these cool scorpion tail that can just melt people, and they have no problem doing that. And then our other creatures that come out of the ocean are a little bit more Lovecraftian. And I'm trying, that can't think of the town that the fish people come in. These aren't quite fish people. These are, yes. So they're not quite like that. They're a little bit almost more surprisingly like our mermaids in Maiden, except these ones have legs, but they're just as strong and nasty as the other ones, and they have no problem killing lots of people. And it's just this really crazy story that, I haven't picked up Clickers 2 yet to see where it goes, because this sort of ends. This definitely ends with a big question mark at the end. It's definitely their ode to those kind of B movies, giant monsters attack kind of thing. So it was a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's really funny. The author Rick, who's in this story, he was like this. Wrote a couple of these nasty nasty horror stories that got really big. He's not the Stephen King of the story. They sort of loosely, not even loosely based. I don't even think he's supposed to be based on Stephen King. It was more of like almost like a joke, I would say, on like an indie author hitting it big and getting like really popular, but now having to kind of write commercial horror. And so he's kind of at a loss and they have writer's block. So I just think that I like that idea, and wondering if he's talking a little bit about those books, what Zebra and stuff like that was out around that time. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I kept thinking summer, even though it is in the fall, but that doesn't really matter. That doesn't really play too much into it, except I guess for hurricane season, because that's like the big thing is this giant hurricane kind of comes blowing in. So, but out of at least the killer animal books I have read, I would say this one is probably my favorite. I mean, The Nest was fun because it's just so over the top, and you have somebody having sex with the ground, and you don't have anyone having sex with the ground in this one. It's just all goopy monsterness. So Clickers was a lot of fun. Real quick, the other stuff I read, Brian Evenson's, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you what that one is in just 2 seconds. It's the Glassy Floor of Hell, Glassy Burning Floor of Hell. Yes, Glassy Burning Floor of Hell. That's the book.
That's a title.
Yeah, it's with all these titles that are almost like sentences.
It's trending now.
It is. I'm gonna start thinking of really long titles for my stuff. But anyway, this was really good. Brian Evenson at the top of his game. All the stories are just these awesome little, they're all really short. There's a ton in there. There's like 20, 24 short stories in there, and they're all like 3 to 4 pages. And I mean, every single one of them hits. I'm not going to be able to pull out a favorite right now, but if you're a fan of Evenson, definitely pick this one up. He's just a machine, because I feel like I just read a short story, the latest other collection he put out, and then this one comes out. So he's on his game. It's great. Definitely read that. Yeah, I think that's the main stuff that I want to talk about. Yeah.
Perfect. Villamay, what about you?
Not been doing much well in the reading department here, but I did see The Black Phone,
Oh,
and I really, really liked it. It was really good.
It's a movie.
Yeah. I went with my brothers on that one, and my brother's taste in horror has, I think, significantly changed. Like, what he thinks is scary is like, I'm beginning to be too desensitized. I'm like, no, that's not fucking scary. Like, and I look up at him and like, what's wrong with you? But we actually both managed to get like spooked at one scene in the movie, and it was a really good. It was a really good scene too.
Was it when you see the ghost point at the wall type part?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good that was a good that was a good shot.
I mean, yeah, because it wasn't the usual jump scare, you know.
Yeah, it was
because there was so much tension already with him speaking to a dead person and with inside the phone, and then suddenly the camera pans over and you see a dead child. And you're like, holy fucking crap! It reminded me of the scene in The Haunting of Hill House. You know, when the sisters are arguing in the car, and then Nell just pops up screaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like it has to be like you have to fill it with tension, because then you're so like immersed in the scene, and then suddenly bam, that's how you do a really good jump scare.
Nice.
No, like no music, nothing, just let the person appear, and then you're like, what the fuck. But yeah, I really like this. This story was really good, really well adapted, and oh crap, why can't I remember his name anymore? Ethan Hawke is amazing as the villain.
I love Ethan Hawke. Like,
he really is. He's so good. Like he's people are underestimating him.
Yeah.
Like they're not giving him as much good things to do with his acting, because he's a really, really good actor.
he steals every scene he's in that movie.
Yes. Like that scene when he's just sitting in that chair, just without a shirt. I was like, well.
Oh, he's holding his belt curled up.
Yes,
yes.
God.
That was so terrifying.
So have you?
Because you look at Ethan Hawke and you're like, you're this long ass dude, and you don't pose a threat to me. Yeah. But then we see this, and you're like, no, please don't come near me.
So have you read what the story this is based on?
No, I haven't. I'm sad to say, like, you I mean, throughout the entirety of this podcast, as I joined you on this podcast, I'm still like discovering a lot of these horror stories, because as I've always said, we didn't have a lot of options here in Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So it's just Stephen King. So I haven't read anything by his son. I've just watched a little bit of Nosferatu, but I haven't read it.
Oh man, that show's such a terrible adaptation.
I've heard. I'm confused. The only reason I decided to watch it was because there's an Icelandic actor in it.
Actually, I haven't even heard much of that show. So
yeah.
So yeah, I have zero experience with Joe Hill, but when you see him I follow him on Twitter, and he's like, "You're a nice guy. I bet your stories are good."
Yeah, yeah, he does seem like a nice dude.
Honestly, his stories are really good. The Black Phone, I think, is one of the best stories from 20th Century Ghosts.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I need to check that out at one point. But I'm still holding on to I'm going to read more women authors, because this is what happened then afterwards.
Yeah.
After the movie, that's what happened.
I saw.
I won't go into detail about it. Doesn't matter. I've kind of gotten over it. I have more spite, fueled and rage in me right now.
Hey, that's good. You
I feel
channel that and use it.
I will. But yeah, I finished watching the Black Phone, and then yesterday we watched the Bob's Burger movie.
Oh,
I saw that too. Oh, that was great.
It's so good. I love
I
it.
love the Bob's Burgers movie.
It's full of heart. It's so campy, and it's just I loved how they animated it. It was like such a step up from the usual.
oh yeah. Huh.
Oh yeah, it was like really they put a lot of thought into it, a lot of love into it, and like the movements are so fluid.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like they do a lot of dancing and singing, and it's just it really it fits so well.
I just love like after like the hole opens up and like Bob's like, so what about our rent? Like we can't have our business if this thing's interrupting it. Do we have to pay rent? And the guy's like, maybe, and then walks away. And then Bob's like, it's been 2 days, and all he said is maybe.
Yep. And then Linda's like, yeah, but that's good. That's like 60% yes. And he's like, oh, no, it's not. It is just if you need if you're feeling a little bit down and you want to pick me up, you should definitely check out the Bob's Burger movie. It fills you with such warmth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just so cute, and I just miss them so much, and I'm like, oh, you guys are awesome. I love you. There was this one joke in the movie that had me laughing for like 5 minutes straight. I just kept on laughing because it was such a simple fucking joke, and it reminded me of of my favorite comedy movies, which is usually the ones with Leslie Nielsen. Slapstick movies. I fucking love them. They're my favorites. And it's the scene where they were playing duck. And they were throwing ducks at them, like yelling duck, and the guy was like, "Yeah, it got really confusing on what to do." And I was on the floor laughing. I thought it was so funny. It's similar to the time when we watched the Simpson movie in the theater, and I was the only one in the full packed theater that laughed at the joke when Homer is crashing between a rock and a place called a hard place.
Yeah. I thought that was one of the funniest jokes in the movie. That was really funny. Yes,
it was so funny, and I was the only one who was like hysterical laughs. The people were just like, what's so funny? I'm like, you don't get it. What the fuck? And I was like, well, am I the smart one here? I don't know.
Hey, it's all right. I watched Hot Shots Part 2 last night, so I totally get it.
Hey, Hot Shots Part 2 is also great.
It's my favorite. I prefer Part 2 instead of number 1.
Yeah, that means
because it goes completely into the camp there.
Yeah,
oh,
totally. 100% into the camp.
Yeah.
Well, you go, Vitlama.
Sorry, I think what did I finish also? I'm almost finished. Oh, guys, you guys need to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's so funny. Have you guys heard of Snowflake Mountain?
I've seen it advertised there.
I've heard of Snowflake Mountain.
It's if you guys want to feel better about yourself, if you don't think that you are so entitled assholes, you should definitely check out the series. It's it's as the title kind of describes it, is about like these how many were there? I think it were 8 spoiled brats who are still adults, because most of them are around like in their 20s. Still living with their mom and dad. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, with the economy and everything, that's fucking understandable. But they don't do shit. They just let their parents do everything. They just like, I'm just gonna party all the time. That's what I live by. Woo! And I'm like, fuck you. And the parents apparently they have had enough with it, so they decided to ship them off. And the kids think that they're going to this like 5-star resort, but they're just shipped off into the wilderness, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna survive this shit." And I thought that was brilliant. I was like, "Yeah, that's good. Let's see them suffer. I need to see those brats suffer." And they kind of don't, though. It's like they're being too fucking easy on them. And I was like, I guess that because it's a reality show, they have to be, they have to go easy on the fuckers.
Oh, jeez.
And they also give them a fucking incentive, and I'm like, why? They should not. They say usually they have the right to go, to go out of it, to bail, basically.
Yeah.
And it's their choice, of course. And they're not gonna. And the guys who are running this wilderness retreat, basically, they're like, yeah, I mean, we're not gonna hold it against them. I mean, we're here to try to help you become a better person, but it's up to you. But then they're like, but if you stay, you get $50,000. And I'm like, they don't need that. They don't give them anything.
Yeah. Right.
Like, they fucking don't deserve fucking thing. They need to earn the fucking thing. I'm almost up to the last episode, I think. But it's been a ton of fun to watch them suffer a little bit. But there was this one guy who just was insufferable. If I was there, I probably would have kicked him in the nuts and then thrown him into the lake and watched him drown because he probably didn't know how to swim. Because he, like on the first challenge, they were supposed to, retrieve food that was like in a bag, like in a burlap sack. And it was like the most easiest shit ever. I'm like, how the fuck can you not get a bag that is hung up on a tree?
Oh my gosh.
And the other one was like on a raft on the lake. And I'm like, this is not hard, people. Like the inner Icelandic person is like fuming at this.
Yeah.
Because we start working, like we kids start working at like 13, 11.
Oh god. Yeah.
So we're like this, like the hardworking person within me, and I'm like, I hate you. I hope you die. But the guy, yeah, they managed to get it, and the insufferable one, he's just like, hey, why don't we just save some of this shit just for ourselves? We'll steal it, and they don't have to get a thing. The other team. Wow. And I was like, are you gonna sabotage them on the fucking first day?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if it was him doing it, because this is a reality show. And they want to do they want to amp up the drama. So I'm not sure if this was his idea or the producers.
Yeah.
Just to make him, hate him more. But he was the first one who actually left, because he was like, I'm not learning anything. And I was like, yeah, because you don't wanna, you prick. God. So he probably didn't learn anything. He just went back to his mommy and daddy. He just wanted to be waited on him 24/7. And it's so funny. Like, as much as I enjoy this and watching this, I know this is, this is not at all real. And when they go home, they hadn't learned a single fucking thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just gonna go back to their awful ways.
Yeah.
Reality TV has
probably just gonna be more mean about it. They're probably gonna use it to their advantage.
Yes.
To get sympathy.
Totally.
So I'm like, I hope they have like a second episode or like a second season where we see like if they have incorporated what they've learned into the wilderness, into their daily lives. But I don't know. I doubt it's gonna happen.
I will say, before we hop on with the book discussion, has anyone seen the movie Incantation yet?
I plan on watching it tonight.
Yeah, I want to. I don't know when, but soon.
It's a really good Taiwanese horror movie on Netflix.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. That's why I really want to see it tonight.
I watched it last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago.
Is this the found footage? Is it found footage?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird because it's either found footage or fake documentary, because there's parts where they have security camera footage like put into the movie as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of straddling with like those two genres. but the creep factor is very high with this movie.
Nice.
It is very unsettling at a few points and will definitely creep you out or get under your skin. And it does have some good levity as well to like ease the tension. Like in the flashbacks when they're recording videos for their YouTube channel where they're trying to be ghost hunters. that was pretty funny. Scary. Then it got pretty fucked up pretty fast. It's a really, really solid horror movie.
Nice.
And if you're looking for something to scratch the horror itch that's on streaming,
yeah,
Incantation's gonna do it for you.
Sweet.
But I think that's about it for me. I think we should get into this Daron Napov story.
I think so.
Which is our second Napov since we discussed what was it, Wicked Rex of the West.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy that he can hold it by himself without Ed Lord. Like he's a really, really solid writer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
The story flowed really well. Like the pacing was really, really good.
Yep.
And you can definitely see that he spent a good amount of time researching as well.
Yeah.
It's like for example, with the forensics thing, I didn't know this was the norm. Like I like the character, like I was fooled by CSI and Law and Order and everything. I thought like, oh, I thought you actually got to see the fucking body.
Right.
And then it's like, no, you get pictures. I'm like, I mean that's fair. And that's also, that's less traumatizing. So yeah, I guess that.
Yes. Well, and it was interesting too because it felt like it was almost a test just to make sure that she knew who it was. So I like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just love that the whole idea of this just came from that picture that I think Alan Baxter posted.
No, Keelan Patrick Burke.
Keelan Patrick Burke, yeah. I knew it was a B name, so, but
yep.
I did like that. And,
I also like that he added, like he put the picture of the phone booth in the ebook. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because not a lot of people probably didn't see the Keelan, posted on social media, so it was nice to see it as well.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I guess for listeners, we have what was Gavin and Cassidy. It opens up with them on
Gavin
a camp.
Cass.
And Cass, they were on a camping trip, and they find a phone booth in the middle of the woods, or at least on this hiking path. And Gavin picks up the phone, and then chaos ensues.
Yeah,
which it's interesting.
Chaos that definitely ensued.
Yeah, like cosmic chaos.
Yeah, which I know we talked at the beginning of this wanting more. I feel like that was a big part of it, was wanting more of that, just trying to figure out.
Doesn't have to be like doesn't have to be explained like in detail, just a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I couldn't quite tell. So
because because I feel this, even without the cosmic horror element, the story still would have been solid.
Well, and exactly, that's kind of where I'm leaning, because so for again, what they're having trouble. Gavin's your typical dude bro, and Cass is done with this relationship.
Yeah,
and so
not what she expected.
Not what she expected. Her best friends both are vying for him as well, and she's like, "That's fine, whatever." But then she gets a call or a text from an unknown number, and this is when there's like this stalker hanging outside her window, and then and this is quick in the story, so not total spoiler, even though this is kind of short, so we might be spoiling it a bit, but that her roommate who wasn't there was coming home from work. We find her dead in the front of the door. And so that, all of that, like the stalker stuff, is felt very solid without the cosmic horror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, I think if this needed to be expanded, that's where I would probably go. Again, like you said, I don't think it needs to be explained, but it felt like I don't even know if we needed any of that, because I guess that's the question. Was he?
I feel like if he wanted to expand it a little bit more, he could have maybe done it because he did the thing like she had like these vivid nightmares after encountering the phone booth. If he wanted to like expand it, maybe it would have been good if she had like these vivid nightmares like when she was awake.
Yes.
Yeah.
To see it like incorporate into her like waking hours.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have been able to correlate more with her being like in the end how she kind of loses it.
Yes. Yeah. Because that, which we can get into soon, because that's where I was kind of like, wait, what? Because she like has these blackout times where she loses a lot of time, but she's always in this. It seemed like she's been in the same place. Like she's at one point she's in her apartment doing stuff, and then she like wakes to and realizes it's been like 6 or 7 hours and she doesn't know where that time went. But she's still in her apartment, and I feel like that would have been an interesting thing to have her somewhere else, because that's what I was trying to wonder if that's what was going on with, I don't know if we said or if we should spoil that part, but like if that was what was going on with somebody else. Was that lost time, and was that lost time being taken over and used by something else?
Yeah.
Because like it's just, yeah, that's where I want it, and especially when we start getting to when we get the ending, I was kind of like, well, wait, what does this mean? Where the cosmic stuff could have played into, because he does a great job setting up the fact that Gavin kind of plays these pranks maybe a little bit, and so when he picks up the phone and acts like he's listening to something, you're at first like, well, maybe this is a prank. And even when he falls over, and I thought I almost was like, oh, this is gonna be an interesting, because you almost instantly hate Gavin.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, well, maybe they're gonna kill Gavin right at the start, and then then that's where the story's going. But no, Gavin was just like maybe playing a prank. So that's where
I also felt like when I say it could have been longer, it's like when we mentioned like the cosmic stuff the story brings in, like I love that shit. And so like I was hoping that we'd get like more as the story went on, which is why I was kind of surprised when it just ended.
Yeah.
And I was like, it feels like there's so much more to go with this though.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's to go with the short and then the timer thing on the Kindle. I was like, oh, well, maybe he's got like a part 2 in this, and that's like gonna take us further. But then it's not that. So
yeah, I like a how would I describe it? Like there's meat on the bones, but there should be more meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like mist obscuring some extra stuff that would have
Yes, there are like gnawed out parts there that should be reattached.
Yeah.
Or they just had to give those chickens some growth hormones so that way.
Yes.
I want my chicken with a 6-pack. Come on.
With arms.
Yes, with big muscles.
But I will say when she got the text from Gavin and then followed by like next time you shouldn't be wearing that towel, I was like, that's fucking creepy.
Oh yeah. He managed to really capture the home invasion scenes like really well. Like that was straight up fucking tension there.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was really, really done well. And, also, like I said, the police procedural was also really good. And I also loved the little nod that she was like, some police work that is. And I was like, yep. I was like, nope, that's normal, unfortunately.
I should commend Daron for writing a woman protagonist that wasn't cringy. A lot of men really suck at writing women.
Yes.
And Daron did a fantastic job, I felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he reached out to like female beta readers. Like he like in the acknowledgments he thanks Nat or TC Parker and Laura Hightower for beta reading the story.
Yeah.
So I think they managed to be able to bring it out even better in him.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Because you're because when you're getting all the stuff about Gavin at the beginning, what you're kind of seeing is Cass like just done, and it's done. The way that Daron did it was, perfect. It was kind of like, yeah, this was fun. Gavin's this handsome, strong
Asshole.
person. Yeah, but he's like, yeah, a complete jerk and an asshole, and I think it could have been an easy one way or the other, and I think he did the right thing by kind of making it like, no, I'm breaking off with this. It just so happens that even after she breaks it off with him, you get like when she has to go in and see the body or see the pictures of the body, she's kind of like stuck because her friends aren't around and her parents aren't around, and so of course she has to call him again. So all of that I think plays really well, because it could have been an easy like, all right, well, I'm dealing with all this trauma. My roommate died. I'll just go back with Gavin. But even still, she's like, no, we're done. Even though I guess that's the part where she does it during her blackout. So I guess she is doing some stuff during a blackout.
Yeah, I would have wanted that she have gotten a little bit more hints at
Yeah.
like what she did in the blackouts.
Yeah.
Just to make her feel like she is doubting her own sense of self.
Yes. Yeah.
If is this the trauma talking, or is this the fucking phone booth?
Exactly.
Going back and forth. He could have done so much more with that kind of tension in it.
Yes. Yeah.
And make us doubt, like make her become like this unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Because you kind of see that it's like going in that direction, but then he's like goes the safe way instead.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And I think that would have been cool, because it was like a blackout. She could have done anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't
It's
know
like make her wake up with blood on her hands. She's like, oh my fuck, hold up, where did this blood come from?
Yeah, exactly.
or just see like he saw in that person's apartment, like scribbles on the wall. You see someone, she's like, wait, what? Who did this?
Yes, that would have been that. Yeah, I agree. Because it was almost safe to be like, well, my blacked out self broke up with Gavin.
Yeah.
But it could have been like a better, like, Gavin just not calling or something where we don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
And I guess at this point we're 50 minutes in, we've the story short, spoiler talk time, and I think we almost gave it away, or we did give it away already, but like
I kind of called that was going to be the twist when I was reading it.
Yeah,
same here.
I was like, it's Gavin.
Yeah. So that exactly. So
like I said, he went the safe way for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that
was what I thought was going to happen, and this is just kind of my head getting away from it, is like the weird cosmic forces that were like giving Cass these horrible dreams and her blackouts.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be like Gavin was also like being controlled to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then he ended up just seemed like, no, he was just a fucking mad that she broke up with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I was wondering. And that was going to be my big question is, did he, because he seemed like he was, so we get, okay, to back up. So we get our stalker Gavin shows up at the apartment, and Steph, the roommate, dies.
Mm-hmm.
When Cass goes and talks to the cops, they say, well, there's somebody else died too, and we're just trying to figure out if it's the same person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, did Gavin kill that other person too, or are we supposed to believe Cass did that?
I think Gavin did it.
I think Gavin did it, but I also felt just kind of like a red herring or misdirection to like make us think of something beyond the plot, and then it was just kind of dropped right after that.
It was supposed to like make us believe that it like Gavin was not being the person. It was just some crazy psycho.
Okay. Which then
But-
leads to, so was Gavin blacked out when he came and murdered Steph and threatened Cass, or was he just that psycho of a person that he was going to kill people?
Like, okay, I'm no psychologist or psychotherapist or anything like that, but I feel like if you're having a blackout, would you be lucid enough to have like comprehensive sentences?
That's, yeah, I know. I was wondering.
Because he was really fucking articulate in describing what he was gonna do to Cass and what he did to Steph, Steph.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. That's why I was wondering. I'm like, and maybe that's where I would want more. And maybe that's where it was like, is it the phone booth controlling him?
And what also really threw me off a little bit for a loop was that, when he comes in and he talks, they've been together for like a year.
Yeah.
I would assume that she would know how he walks.
Yeah.
And also how he talks.
Yes.
Like how she didn't recognize his voice immediately. I know Daron described like the stalker as like having this gravelly voice. So maybe that was kind of like an indication that he was being controlled by some cosmic entity.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a possibility of that, but it, like I said, it's not explored as much as I would have wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And exactly. That, and I'm wondering if, and that's where maybe if we would have gotten a little bit more, the ending would have made some sense.
Yes. I feel like if it was supposed to be like this contagion thing.
Yes.
Like if you touch or in the vicinity of the phone booth, you will, catch this kind of like cosmic disease, maybe.
Yeah. That's what that would have, because I think that would have made sense, or at least would have helped just kind of play into it.
Or maybe, like in the end, like she is determined to go and see the phone booth again. And I'm like, I totally understand that. You want answers. But it would have been also really cool to see like the other self, or like maybe this disease kind of like restricting her and going there.
Yes.
Just like her like legs are not really moving as she goes, or like the physiotherapy is not going as well because of it.
Yeah.
Something to make it connect more a little bit.
Yeah, or like every time she tries to go, she blacks out and she's back in the apartment and she's like, what's happening? Like, what is this time that I'm losing? Something that I think that would have been cool, because it did seem kind of easy to just go right there and then just but
so like I said, there's this story is good as its own. Like I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but it has so much more potential.
Oh, yeah. I wanted more. Like, and that's the comment on the stories. I didn't want to leave this world. Like, I wanted to follow these characters.
And to the listeners, that is not like harsh criticism at all. That is a compliment. Like, if we say that we want more, that's a huge ass compliment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, even talking about it being short, which, sometimes you're like, oh, short book's easy, I'll just read it. But like, I want it to get to the, like, I was invested in it. So yeah, I definitely, and I mean, I think Cass was an amazing character that I was happy to be with throughout of this. I mean,
she was really realistic. I loved how realistic she was.
Yeah.
And just can we just take a minute here and just blow off of her fucking friends? They like are the worst.
I know.
I was just reading this and I'm like, you should really ditch those friends of yours. They're awful.
Seriously. I mean, and she even kind of like says that at one point. Well, maybe I will be like without them too. I was like,
I was like, yeah, girl, just do it. Those fuckers.
They were
just go like teaming up with Gavin. I'm like, you're part of the problem, bitches.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome was her friend was like didn't want her to break up with Gavin.
Yeah.
And it's just like Gavin's such an asshole.
Just stick it out. It'll be fine. I'm like, no, excuse me.
Right. We get that.
It's like, horrible... what if it goes? What? Like they're like into the mental abuse right now. So what if it goes physical? Are you still gonna say that, bitch?
Well, I mean, they say what? There is that boys will be boys line in here.
I fucking hated it. I wanted to scream.
I know, and it's just crazy because it's coming from her friends that she's like, well, they both want him.
Like that internal misogyny. I was like, I hate you. Fuck off.
Oh my gosh.
He did. I mean, he did that well. Like Daron put that as well, and I think it was definitely meant to get more sympathy for Cass.
Yeah.
And I was full on board. I'm like, yeah, fuck those girls.
Well, and again, talking about where to expand, this is like a perfect little spot because it seems like he, as he was writing it, was trying to get her completely alone. So to have her friends be like that, and then to have even Gavin be, before we know all the stalkery stuff, but just to have him be going away and like killing off Steph, it was like, oh, he's going for something by making her be completely isolated.
Yeah.
And so that would have been, if he wanted to expand it, that would be a good spot too, because maybe that's the phone's doing, or whatever entity is behind the phone. So yeah, but yeah, her friends were just the worst. And even at one point, and again, like not knowing if Gavin is, as the stalker, is lying about everything, because he even said, I killed Gavin, or I'm going to kill Gavin. He even says at one point, well, he's sleeping with your best friend. And so I was like, well, is that true? Or is that not true?
I mean, it could have been true. I mean, if Steph probably wanted to blab, he just wanted to get rid of her so she wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always a common reason.
Yeah. Exactly.
I also feel that's like, maybe he also killed Steph because she was in the way.
Yeah.
That too.
Or like he was
collateral damage.
He wanted to get inside her home, right? And the only way to do that is to get the key.
Yes.
And
Steph
why not
didn't
wait
want
till
to.
Steph gets back, kill her, get the key to get inside?
Yeah.
Yep. So crazy.
It could go either way. I really hope he expands on like the mythology of the story, though. I want the more cosmical elements to pop up in future Dasman, not Dasman. It's Daron stories.
Yes, I definitely agree. I mean, he gave us such a good taste of it, and that, it left us craving for more.
Yes. I'm trying to remember, and I guess I could flip through. Is the phone booth even there at the end?
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Right. It's gone. Okay. Yeah, I like that. And yeah, it would have been interesting to kind of see what else that phone can do, or what else it does.
Yeah.
Because it's just this neat concept and everything.
It is. It's like Doctor Who meets cosmic horror.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love that?
Totally. Oh man. Yeah. And like talking about the contagion of this, or whatever it does seem like maybe it's working slower on her, and that's why at the end we get this like crazy turn.
It might, but I still feel like he could have put the gestation a little bit in a better way.
Yeah.
Like, describe it more for me, please. Give me fucked up moments.
Yeah, exactly. Like the drawings and everything like that, and all the weird texts. There's just that's where, if
because he could have really turned it around, like with her friends. Like if he wanted to bring like those awful friends again, like with those, like having them test, like, what the fuck did you just write to me now? And she's like, what? I didn't write anything. And then she would scroll down and like, oh, what the fuck? Did I write this? Like, I mean, there's so many things. There are so many balls you can juggle, and you can put it all together.
Yeah, exactly.
We just need Daron to write. We need Daron to write the sequel, and he can call it "We Can Never Go Back to the Time We Went Back,"
or we can never go back again.
Or we did go back.
Oh yeah, we returned.
We went back.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. Can we tag him on that?
Yeah. Hey, Daron, found the title for your new book. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Not even an explanation. He's gonna be like, "Oh wait, what?
Yeah,
okay,
what just happened?"
And we just like point on the noise, like, you know what we mean.
But no, seriously, to our audience, this is a really wonderful novelette.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Definitely showcases. Yeah, it definitely showcases the skills that Daron has, and I can't wait to see what else he has to bring.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think we've said it a lot. Just his style is great in this. He does a great job of, even in this short of stuff, or even just in his scenes of tension, they are really good. Even the like climax scene is really like intense. So it's just awesome all the way around.
Perfect. And I'm super excited to announce next week when we're going to be discussing The Ghost That Ate Us, featuring Daniel Kraus.
Ooh!
Yay!
Which has been a long time coming, and I'm really happy to have Daniel hopping on the podcast with us.
Yeah, no, that'll be a lot of fun.
That's going to be exciting. I hope I don't fuck it up.
Honestly, I hope I don't fuck it up. Mike, if anyone's going to fuck it up, it's going to be me, probably.
Oh, we'll be great. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what they always say before someone fucks up, Matt. Thank you.
I don't know what.
Now I gotta knock on wood.
But I will say, The Ghost That Ate Us is out. So if you want to be prepared for a discussion, you can pick up a copy. It's put up by Raw Dog Screaming Press, which is probably one of my favorite indie publisher like names. And plus, the books they put out are fantastic.
Yes.
Like they put out some of my favorite small press horror. Super happy to have this one come out. And I can't wait for everyone to hear this episode when it drops. Drops next week. And Vitlame, where can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me on Twitter at VitameS.
And Matt?
I am also on the Twitter at BrandenburgDM.
You can also follow me on Twitter at Rudy53088. Be sure to give our podcast a follow with Add Into Staring, because you want to spread that abyss around. And this is Richard Gerlach saying, if we stare hard enough, we can go back.